2008, April, John Dramani Mahama. 2012, August 5th, Pakwesi Emisata. So
no,
October,
2012 should not be counted, because in that event, President Mahama became the candidate himself sometime in August, July, August. So 2012, maybe you should take that.
No, but it was still a running mate. So if you look at it, October, September,
No,
September.
2012, the running mate, John Mahama, was already known by July before Professor Mills passed.
I'm saying that whichever way you look at it, October, September, October, August, 1 April. If you strike an average, where is the delay? Delay for who?
But if you
according to whose time?
If you agree that the NDC is back,
let's. So
I get your point.
Let's come back to why I'm here. So I just want the public to know that there's nothing like delay. We have a timetable we follow. We have a strategy we are following, and we'll follow that strategy. When the time is right, the flag bearer will announce his running mates.
If you believe that the NDC is back as where you were in 2008, coming from opposition to win, then maybe the April should be a guideline. April 2000, and the announcement you made.
Program, we have our strategy that we are following, announcement of running mates, introduction of manifesto. All those things are strategic issues that deal with communication. It is our strategy. Nobody can force us to work according to somebody's
Mahama is one of you. Yesterday,
Mahama is my brother. I disagree with him.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's my brother. He's
Mark Menu is wondering why the NDC is fixated on a 2012 registered voters register. He's wondering why.
I think it's a very simplistic wonder coming from a person like him. If we want to look at the whole issue about the voters register, you need to put it in its proper context. So you were in law school for a while. Article 42, it says, every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above and of sound mind has the right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a voter for the purposes of public elections and referenda. And then 45, I had that AG quoting 45. The Electoral Commission shall have the following functions: to compile the voters register and review it at periods as may be determined by law. And then when it comes to
review as may be determined by law.
Yes, and then
Which law?
It says to undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters. So first of all, they have to compile the register. And then E says to undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of the voters.
The 45 says by law they can do a new register.
Yes, they can do a new register.
By law.
Okay, so, but E says the program that they do must expand the register. So if by their actions, whatever they do will culminate in they not expanding the register, okay, but shrinking the register, not allowing people, disenfranchising people, they are working against the Constitution.
But you can shrink the register. The Supreme Court asked Charlotte Osei to remove some names. That would be shrinking the register.
That is a direction of the Supreme Court, but not by deliberate conscience. And I'm going to show you. Okay? So, first of all, the EC lied.
Which is the current EC?
Yes, current EC.
About what?
They you know, for me, I'm a student of democracy. And if you look at the way we have gone since 1992, went from transition, consolidation, and all that. So when you have institutions like the EC with all their faults, and they conduct themselves in such a manner that the very credibility, the foundations that have been built over the years, they throw it into the dustbin by their conduct, is a threat to our democracy. Now, this is a document of the EC Ghana's election 2020.
Understanding
the need for a new biometric register.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. You seen it? Okay. Yeah. The camera can focus on it.
This one, the camera to my left.
Okay. Right. So this is EC document. This is the document when we raised issues about the compilation of the new register. This is the document the EC used at the IPAC to speak to diplomatic corps, chiefs, everybody, media. So this is the official position of the EC. Slide 27. They themselves asked themselves a question. Is the EC discarding all previous data? They said no. The EC will use the existing data of voters during the registration of voters into the new voters register. Then it says to be registered into the new register, existing voters need to only present their existing voters ID card to the registration officer. existing voters will not be required to go through the same process as new voters. It's here, it's in black and white. This is what the EC said. They said it at IPAC. They said it to Parliament.
When did they say this?
They said this in the process
which
of...
date?
It's here, it's here.
Has it been updated?
Oh, if they've been updated, they should inform the public properly. This is the
So
official...
this is the latest document that you have?
The official document. They have not updated it. And this is what they told Parliament, the Parliament of the Republic. And this is what, when they met us with President Mahama, they were asked a specific question. Are you going to use the NIA card? They said no. And it's here. It's in black and white.
That they will not use the NIA card?
It's here.
What did they say?
No,
Say it again.
no. I'm just saying that when we asked them, were they going to use the NIA card, they said no.
They said no, yes.
And that they were going to use the existing voters card. And it's here. It's in black and white. Can't you read?
Data of voters during the registration.
Yes.
Is it the same as using the
Existing voters need to only present their existing voters ID card.
Okay.
Can't you read it yourself? Maybe I'm not. Read it yourself. The last one.
Okay, it says
So
that
that people will not say I'm
to be
reading it
registered
wrongly.
into the new register, existing voters need only to present their existing voter's ID card to the registration officer.
So which one is the existing? So when your AG comes to sit here and he's saying the EC cannot be what? This is the EC's own document. They said it in my presence. In fact, that day, Boss Manaswari swore. So in the face of all this,
the point. So you're saying that now the position that the existing ID card is not eligible to qualify a holder is different from the
It's different from this.
Okay.
And it has implications. Okay, so with that, it means that, so then you come to NIA, because see, there's a link between whatever the
I was
EC
totally confused about the link that your party chairman made
so there's a link.
Understand
Okay, so then you come to the NIA. Before MPP came to power, the NIA law allowed us to use the birth certificate, the voter's card, driving license, and of course the passports. When they came, they took out the voter's ID card, they took out the driving license, and then they maintained only birth certificates and the passports.
So they reduced the number of documents that qualify a person to be on the national ID card.
And if you look at our demography, the demography of this country, it has its own challenges. We told them, you remember that battle in Parliament, that when you do that, it's going to disenfranchise many people in the rural areas. How many Ghanaians have passports? How many of them?
But they say somebody, if I am registered, I can vouch for 10 people.
How come to that? That's the most shambolic argument anybody can make. Okay? So we insisted, we said it, they still went ahead. They had their numbers in Parliament. So they went ahead. When they started with the registration, we saw the numbers. And we said, what we told you is happening. So consistently, we realized that they were not capturing enough people. You remember?
Yeah.
If you
this
follow,
is a national ID card.
Yes, if you follow the stories.
But now they've captured 11 million.
Hold on. I went to Volta Region. I led a team to Volta Region because they were complaining that machines were breaking down. There were long queues. There was frustration, etc., etc. We went there, held press conferences, region upon region. All kinds of things were happening because they had restricted. We call those the breeder documents. You see, if you restrict the breeder documents, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will tell you that we have only 2 million Ghanaians who have passports. 2 million. So if you restrict the breeder documents, it makes it difficult for the rest of the people. And I'll come to what you're saying that people can guarantee for you.
Yeah.
Indeed, best practice, international best practice when it comes to registration, says that your breeder document should be able to cover over 90% of the population. So the secondary, the supplementary document, which will be the guarantor, should cover only about 5% of the population. So if you deliberately create a situation where rather your breeder document will cover a small percentage of the population, a majority of the people have to depend on the secondary process, which secondary process is cumbersome,
the guarantor.
It's complex. We are talking about practicality. Okay, it's very cumbersome, it's very complex, it's difficult to do. What you do is that ultimately many people will not have the opportunity to register because they go to the registration centers. As we have seen with the NIA, they go there the first day, second day, third day, then they are tired, then they leave. And we have seen this. I'm not telling you a story. These things are there. Check your records. We've seen this happening.
But there was an improvement in the number of people that they were, the amount of data they were collecting. Now they have 11 million Ghanaians on.
11 million.
Yes. Although all of them don't have cards, but they do have 11 million.
Okay, so let's do the numbers now. So that 11 million includes those who they start from the age of 15, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you take away 15 to 18. 17, just below 18, right? You're talking about some 2 million gone.
So they are out of the voting register.
So you have 9 million, right?
Sort of.
So 9 million, sort of. Now, out of that 9 million, okay, these are the numbers. If you look region by region, and you look at the estimated population that are 18 plus, central region, you have 1,453,050. The number of 18 plus issued is 79,170. Those not issued are 659,880. So you have 45.41% not issued.
With cards?
Yes. So
even though they are on the database?
They're on the database, but they don't have cards.
For the purpose of the new voters register,
yes,
is being on a database not sufficient? Must you show the card?
You must show the card. That is why we're saying that this whole business about you have to get the NIA card as your main breeder document is insanity. Because you see...
but it's not only the NIA card.
Hold on. Take your time. Oh, let me even jump and tell you the interesting news. So let's start from Savannah. Savannah, 342,685,000 is the estimated population. The 18 plus issued is 118,072. Those not issued are 224,613. So you have 65.55% not issued. Northern region, 981,947. Those issued are 328,115. Those not issued are 653,833. That is 66.59%. And guess what? Let me come to Bono East. 645,681. Those issued are 70,207. Those not issued, no, please, it's important. Okay. Let me just do 3 more and then you will see. 575,473. That's 89.13%.
Not issued.
Not issued. Bono.
In Bono itself?
Yes, Bono, 665,679. Then you have 67,165 issued. Then you have 598,514. That's 89.91% not issued. Ahafo, 349,474. And you have only 27,166 issued. Those not issued are 322,308. Then you have 92.323% not issued. Upper East, 708,584. You have 45,076 issued. 663,508 not issued. 93.64%. Then Upper West, you have 472,391. You have 24,427 people issued. And you have 447,964, 94.3%. So in Upper East, Upper West, Ahafo, Bono East, Northeast, Northern, Savannah, Western, Oti, all these regions, when you look at them, which are our strongholds.
Which one is your stronghold?
Upper East is Upper West, your stronghold.
Who is your?
You people, yes, your people. Everybody knows you are one of them. Upper West.
But you mentioned Western. East, how is that your stronghold?
Upper West, Upper East, Ahafo.
Ahafo is your stronghold?
It used to be our stronghold.
Used to be.
You know that.
But you said used to be.
Yes, of course.
But you were so heavily defeated in 2016.
It's a region we've been winning. Okay, okay. Upper West, you see, you are picking on, you are cherry picking. Upper West, is it not? How come that, strangely enough, of all the regions, that is the West, 94.83% not issued. So the people of Afar, this huge number of people, they are not Ghanaians.
That means that the NPP can make the case you are making, because they will say Ahafo is our stronghold, and the people have not believed.
Yeah, but if you look comparatively,
what's happening let's look at the real ones. What's happening in Greater Accra, for instance?
Good. So Greater Accra, you have 56.92%.
Not issued.
Yes. That is, so can you compare 56.92% to 94.83%?
In Upper West.
Are you serious?
Well, but in terms of numbers, you know that the numbers...
Whether numbers or not, it is 56.45%.
Of Greater Accra not issued.
94.83%.
Yes, correct.
You come to Upper East, is 93.64%.
I'm asking you this question because I want to understand
why. But is it not more reasonable that in the smaller regions,
you
should be able to issue?
It makes sense.
And in any case, if the EC says this is the card, which is your main card, the breeder document for you to be registered, does it not make sense that a significant majority of the people, whether in MPP or NDC stronghold, should have their cards?
It should be.
So does it make sense that, we all went to school, basic logic, that you have a situation where 94%, 93%, 92%, 89%, 89%, 68%.
And does this make sense? This is your fundamental document you are relying on as the breeder document. That's the point you're making.
Exactly.
That a document that is not available cannot be your breeder document.
Exactly.
I get that.
So
why is that against NDC?
The effect, and I've shown you the numbers in the various regions. Look at the Upper West, 94.83%. Upper East, 93.64%. I mean, Bono, 89.91%. Bono East, 89.13%. Northern, Northeast.
What's happening in Ashanti?
Ashanti, where's Ashanti? Ashanti, 49.71%.
Not issued.
Yes. Okay. Greater Accra, 56.92%.
Central.
And yet, when you come to the core stronghold, Central is a swing region. But even there, where is Central? Central is 45%. So you see, strange.
Western.
45%. Western is 51.12%. It doesn't tell you something. It doesn't tell you
Let's
something.
look at
Volta is 56.45%. And you know why?
No.
And I'm going to come to the distribution of equipment. And that is where you will see the game. So
it's a game?
Oh, yeah, it's a game. Please. We've been in this business for long. You know now. I mean, come on. We are not children in this game. It's a game.
Okay, let's understand the game.
Good.
So you think that all of this is directed at disenfranchising NDC supporters from being on the new voters?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. And I'm going to, let me just show you.
Because NDC supporters, as is showing on your data across the country, will not have the national identification card. And they would also not have people to guarantee that they are Ghanaians.
So I've already told you that. First of all, you have to look at the picture generally, okay? That it is not right, whether NDC or MPP. So you need to get the basis, okay? Whether NDC or MPP, for any region to have these humongous numbers
of cars not
distributed. So if we say we're giving the NIA maybe from now till end of June to distribute, statistically, is it possible for them to distribute all these cards? They've had 3 years. Have they been able to distribute? This is common sense and logic. They've had 3 years to distribute.
So what are the number of millions of cars they have not? About 6 million cars.
Exactly. They've had 3 years. They've not been able to distribute. And you say they can distribute it in 30 days or 40 days.
No, they can bring in 6 million cards.
Are you for real? Paul, please. This is your program.
Okay. No, I want to understand.
Credit your listeners with some intelligence.
No problem. Hold this.
Okay.
All right. So the point you're making is that as you look at it, it is not practical to have these cars distributed before the 30th June, which is the starting date for the new voters.
No, I'm just hypothetical.
No, they said something like 30th June.
Have they said?
No, not officially, but
so even that is not a problem.
I'm sure they will announce it because there's a CI. They have a CI before Parliament.
Yes, but we are in May.
Yeah.
Today is May what?
12th.
And we don't know the schedule for the elections.
I'm sure they'll.
No, you are sure?
Schedule for which elections? It's December 7th.
December 7th.
Yeah, that's the voting day.
We don't know the date. We're in December 7th. Has this ever happened before?
No, I mean, we know December 7th is voting day.
No, we don't know when we're going to do registration.
But that's because we are in a public emergency of COVID-19.
Public emergency.
Of COVID-19.
So you don't plan?
Well, they planned, but that plan has changed because there was a lockdown, isn't it?
Okay. So in the lockdown, then they were having meetings.
I don't know.
I don't know. Even when the court said they shouldn't. No, and you had so-called national security protecting them.
No, that's a different matter.
It is, but it's relevant.
Let's come to today's press conference.
So I'm saying that when you look at the numbers, so I've shown you that, first of all, they lied to Ghanaians. They said it plainly to Parliament, to the public. This is what they used to convince all of you. And then they came in our office, they lied. So the question is, why were they lying? And then you come to the deployment.
Yes.
And if you have time, you'll see.
Deployment of equipment.
Of equipment. On average, and I have the details here. On average, they were doing about 1,500 equipment per region, on average. So some regions a little more, a little lower. That is the average, and I have it here, everything here. So the equipment goes with the number of personnel. Okay. Then when they got to Ashanti region, so they started in Greater Accra, then they moved to Volta region, and then they continue like that to the north. When they got to Ashanti region, by the time they got to Ashanti region, they procured extra equipment. And then they deployed 5,000 kits. Where
they were doing 1,500
Yes. And this is
Is Ashanti the biggest region?
I have it.
Is Ashanti the biggest?
Of course.
It's the biggest.
Yes.
So will they require to deploy more?
Okay, so what about Greater Accra?
No, I'm just asking.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So you have to do a contextual analysis.
Yeah, okay. So they deployed more in Ashanti, probably because it was bigger.
Not just more.
Excessively.
Over 200%. You're doing average of 1,000, and then in Ashanti you actually import more equipment and deploy. And
couldn't it be that they had made an order to import, but by the time they got to Ashanti, the order had come?
Okay, how convenient.
So let's look at the next region after Ashanti.
Okay,
Did they go back to 1,000?
Eastern region, same.
They went back to 1,500.
No, same.
Same 5,000.
5,000.
Okay, so Eastern region was after Ashanti region.
More days. And I said, I have the details here.
I get your point, but I'm just saying that couldn't it be playing the devil's advocate that maybe they had made an order for equipment and the equipment had appeared. The equipment had appeared by the time they were going to Ashanti. So the way to find out about the discrimination that you are alleging is to look at the region after Ashanti. Did they return to the 1,000?
No, they didn't.
And you are saying they continue to deploy?
No, they didn't.
Why are they going after Eastern region? They are now.
That's supposed to be the last.
Eastern is the last.
Yes.
Oh, they are done with the whole country.
Yes.
I see.
And that's where they started, and then they were continuing in spite of COVID, and then even after a court order, and then the COVID itself had to then sack them away from the Eastern region. But they claim they are not done yet, so they will go back. So
when they finish the Eastern region, they are done with every region.
Yes.
I see.
And you have all.
But they're not done with every Ghanaian. I mean, I have not registered.
Good. So is that not a problem? If this is the source document for us to go, and I've read the article to you that every Ghanaian is entitled, and the Electoral Commission must make provision.
So what do you want the Electoral Commission to do right now? Is NDC's case that you don't want a new voters register, or you don't mind the new voters register, but you want some other documents to be included?
Fundamentally, we feel that a new voters register is not necessary.
But why?
It is wasteful.
Why?
Because the EC themselves said that the register was very credible. Didn't you hear them?
No.
This is the register that was used to elect Akufo-Addo. And I heard the AG saying very interesting things, and that the register was flawed.
But the Supreme Court said that. In Abu Ramadan, they were clear.
So the Supreme Court said that.
Yes, Georgina Wood.
Yes.
It was very clear.
Good, very clear. But the Supreme Court, with all their knowledge, didn't say that because there were some issues with the register. Because, mind you, there's no perfect register anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Therefore, jettison that register.
No, they said that the Electoral Commission has exclusivity and has discretion to decide what to do. But they urge the Electoral Commissioner to clean up the register, especially in respect of those who had come onto the register with a national health insurance card. They said that.
They did.
Well, the current EC says that it wasn't done.
Okay, so then the Supreme Court, knowing that there can be no perfect register, said, okay, go ahead and then use the register. So we use the register to elect the president. Now, you, like I said,
and elect 275 members of parliament.
Elected 275 members of parliament. So if the register was so flawed, was Nana Akufo-Addo's election flawed? Because you know that the lawyers...
In 2012, when we changed the register, it was the same register that we had used to elect Professor Mills in 2008. The NDC supported the changing of the register in 2012. Why didn't we continue to use the same register that had elected Professor Mills? Why did we change it?
It's a very simple matter.
Yeah, what is it?
So first of all, you see, I have the document here, the reports on the pilot biometric voter registration.
This is the biometric 2012.
Yes, 2012.
Yeah. So we improved the register.
We didn't, you see? Good. You see, because of all the issues about register, and all the agitation. So we decided that let's have a biometric register which will resolve all the issues of a register once and for all. So this biometric register was meant to be, for want of a better expression, the mother of all registers.
Yes.
Because once your biometric details are captured, it's captured forever. The report is here.
Yes.
And it involved all the political parties. They were involved.
But the operation of this register in 2012 election was difficult.
At the legal level, there was consensus. There were various teams. Everybody was involved. So we were all part of it. We all had understanding, the procurement process and all that. So the idea was that once you have this register, going forward, anytime somebody turned 18, we'll be doing limited registration every year.
But this is the register.
It's important for me to make this point. We'll be doing limited registration every year, and then if anybody wanted to do a registration at any time in between, maybe you lost your card or you didn't register at all, you traveled, you came back, you go to a district office, you go and register. That is the biometric register that we have. And the biometric register has features such that because it is biometric thumbprint, this issue of bloating is based on ignorance. Who can use your name? Somebody will go and say he's Paul Adomoche and put his stamp on the machine.
But the point about the register is that people got on the register with a card, the National Health Insurance, that they ought not to have gotten onto it. That's what the Supreme Court said.
Good.
So that the register is contaminated.
Good.
Clearly.
Good. And that register was used to elect the president.
Correct.
And the members of parliament.
Yes.
And that register was used to conduct demarcation of regions.
Yes, correct.
And that register was used to conduct district assembly elections.
Yes.
And then the EC said that register is very good and the elections went very well. Okay? And then now you want to introduce a new register.
Yes.
Now,
an improvement upon the biometric.
It cannot be an improvement.
Because you're adding eye features.
No, you see, this is ignorance. They say these things. The biometric, the fingerprint, by international standards, has 96% plus, 99.4% accuracy than even the facial recognition. When it comes to facial recognition, it has difficulties and challenges, especially with black people.
Okay, but we are adding facial recognition. So we are making the register better.
No, it cannot be better. How can you take something which is 99 point?
But that's already on. We're going to recapture it.
That is, you take a document.
But why do you want to continue using a contaminated register?
You cannot. Well,
the Supreme Court said that.
It is a contaminated so-called register that has elected a contaminated president and contaminated parliamentarians.
But
is that what
I'll
you're
ask
saying?
you the same question.
Is
The
that what
non-biometric.
Is that what you're saying?
The non-biometric voters register elected Professor Mills as president, but we needed to change it. Why didn't we say that this is a non-biometric register as elected?
We went through a process.
Yes.
Okay. We went through a process.
And that process has shown to be flawed.
Please. We went through a process, and with that process, all the political parties came together. There was consensus, there was a technical committee, there was a legal committee. We were all involved in the process. This is their reports, okay? With this particular biometric register that they want to do, first of all, there's no transparency, there's opacity. The EC themselves told us that there was a report from Charlotte Osei that said that the register had to be changed. We've asked for that report till date. We haven't received it.
Oh, it's the Justice Crab report. I have it. I have that. I've used this on this program. Justice Crab.
We haven't seen it.
Oh, I can share with you.
We haven't seen
Justice
it.
VCRC Crab said that the register should be changed.
Please. So the EC told us that there's a document. We asked for it. And they said they were going to supply us with that document. We said, okay, let's have the document and see. Till date, we don't have that document.
No, I haven't.
So are you the EC? Do I take official information from you?
No, I'm just saying that. So at the time the report was launched, I got it then.
Whatever report
2015.
They didn't say it's a Justice Crab report.
That was the only.
They said. How do you know? How do you know?
The only.
So why haven't they produced it?
I don't know about that.
So don't purport to speak for them.
I'm not speaking
whether
for
you
them.
have it or not is neither here nor there.
No, I'm
it's
saying
totally inconsequential.
there is a Justice Crab report.
Paul, whether you have it or not is totally inconsequential.
Fair enough.
It doesn't
Fair
really
enough.
matter. So the point is that.
And I don't even know whether they are referring to the same thing.
Exactly.
So but I have a report like
that. That in at all.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of opacity. 20 civil society organizations, they've done the analysis and showed that we don't need a new register. In fact, this current register has been upgraded several times. They went to Parliament to take money to upgrade the register. That is why it's being used for all these elections. So the register as it is today is fit for purpose. So that is one. Then you come to the new biometric register that they want to do. First of all, the processes are shrouded in secrecy. There's no information. We haven't had any proper IPAC. IPAC, we asked for proper briefing. They never did. They only called us to go for a certain procurement meeting, which we boycotted. They don't consult IPAC. They don't engage us, unlike the previous times when we were part of the legal committee. So even the drafting of the CI, we were part of it before it went to Parliament. Yeah. You see, this time, because they were in haste, they went to Parliament. The first CI, there were mistakes.
Yes.
Second CI, there were mistakes.
But it's not the first time that there are mistakes in CI.
Is that not?
This is not the first time.
But in our time, when we were all involved, we never had those kinds of
In 2012, Afriyie Ankrah had a lot of difficulty with the CI.
We were all involved, and there was transparency, there was openness. This time around, there's nothing like that. Everything is opaque. Then added to that is this connivance with the NIA. First, you tell us that, you are not going to use the NIA card. It was very clear. They said it in clear terms. Then, on your official document, you stated it clearly that they were going to use the existing voters card. What happened? What changed? Who influenced them? Who
Something has changed. Have you asked them?
Well, they won't even talk to you. They don't invite us for meetings.
Don't you have IPAC meetings?
No.
You mean there's be no IPAC meeting?
No. The EC themselves, first of all, they are posturing an attitude. Okay, they said, well, IPAD is
Was your
advisory.
Dr. Dominic Ayini not on the tender committee at the EC from Parliament?
He was. He was on it.
Didn't he have information?
He was on it when the first tender, the chairman of the tender committee said, for the sake of posterity, he doesn't want to be part of that fraudulent procurement, and he resigned.
But Dr. Dominic Ayini remains.
Yes, he was there. He's one person.
He hasn't told you anything. Does he have information?
If you have a committee of many people, what will one man do? So the point is that the most important person, who is the chairman of the tender committee, said the procurement process was not transparent and he was not going to be part of it. And the company they chose, Talis, is a company that has a whole lot of issues. I don't even want
we have discussed that on this program before.
But the point is that the point.
Why are you saying that the EC wants to rig election?
So if you look at the NIA document, and we asked the EC, are you going to use the NIA document? They said no, because the NIA obviously would not be prepared. And it's so clear here. The NIA, they've not issued enough cards to all Ghanaians of all categories.
So what do you actually want? You want birth certificate to be made part of the primary document?
First of all, we don't think we need a new register. That's the first point.
That's not your decision to make. It's the EC's decision.
That is our position.
Yes, but it's inconsequential.
It is consequential.
No, the law says the EC has the discretion.
You see, Paul, you talk about discretion. Look.
Yes.
You see, when
many Supreme Court cases have held the position.
Article 284.
Says
you pass through.
You say where a man has a discretion, it mustn't be used capriciously. Yeah, but
so your discretion must not be used in such a manner that the breeder document that we want to use will end up disenfranchising 2 million people. When the law that governs your activities, 42, says that you must undertake programs of 45E. Programs for the expansion of the register. And 142 says that people are entitled to be registered. Everything that the EC does must be done in a manner that will enhance people, make it easier.
Why is it that if an EC sets up a table here today to register people, and they say that you should bring your national identification card, or you should bring a driver's license, or you should bring a
driver's license is not part of it.
Okay, national identification card, or you should bring a passport. Or if you have neither, have somebody to say that he knows you. How is that disenfranchising people?
Okay, so we are not living in cuckoo's land. We are living on earth. And when you formulate policies or programs, you look at your environment and circumstances, and then you look at precedents. So first of all, there are only 2 million people who have passports in this country. Okay, and already those 2 million people have used the passport, most of them, for the NIA card. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Good. Now, out of those 2 million people, majority of them have not received their cards. So, majority of people do not have the NIA card, which is your breeder document. Okay. That's number one. Number two, international best practices dictates that your breeder document should be able to cover over 90% plus of the population. So that the other one, people guaranteeing, becomes a secondary form of identification. Okay? Now, if you have a situation where, because of the breeder document you've chosen, majority of the people will not have that document. And therefore, majority of the people will have to depend on the secondary one. What it will mean is that there will be so much pressure on the secondary one, because it's meant to, even worst case scenario.
That is why they're asking one person to determine 10 people.
No, hold on. International best practice, and this is not rocket science. Best practice means that it's something that has been tested and tried all over. So if they say that, look, we've done studies across the world, that your secondary document should be able to take not more than 5% of the population. Let me even be flexible, 10% of the population. And you have a situation where your breeder document is going to disenfranchise over 70% of the people, right? So people now
because
have to
they don't have it.
Yes, now people now have to rely on the secondary. So people to guarantee. And I'm telling you that we've been in this Ghana where when the NIA was doing registration, and we complained that if you take out the driver's license and voters register, you're going to have problems. And indeed, we went and had problems in Ghana here, not anywhere, not in Cuckoo's Land, in Ghana here, that people could not register. There were queues, people had to sleep, people had to put stones on the floor, sleep in places because the process became cumbersome. Are you understand me? So
Okay.
because of the
So
cumbersome
what's the
nature,
way out?
somebody comes 1 day, 2 days. Not everybody can go and sleep at a polling station for 3 days.
So what's the way out?
So they'll become fed up and frustrated. So first of all, and again, the EC is leading us on a very dangerous path. We are in May. They haven't given us a timetable. They said they were going to start registration in April. April did not happen. They blamed it on COVID-19. It's not true. The equipment were not ready.
Oh, the equipment were not ready?
No, they were not ready. And then now, we don't even know the date. When would you finish with that registration process, clean the register, and make it available to the political parties? Now, the EC are saying that they don't have, their program is not out yet. And yet, when their Director of Election Services went for a conference with the ECOWAS Electoral Commissioners, he made a presentation. And I have it here.
Was it here in Ghana?
No, it was a video conference. 15th April 2020.
What did he
This is
say?
ECOWAS network of electoral commissions, reports, impact of COVID-19 on upcoming elections in the ECOWAS region. Now let me go to Ghana, and you see why we are in danger. So Ghana, he said a lot of things. Then he says that the new electoral, the registration process is scheduled to start in June. When in June, he didn't say. And it's expected to be completed by mid-July 2020. He indicated that the EC divided the polling stations into clusters, each composed of 5 polling stations, and 8 days will be required for the registration of voters in a cluster. That is even a problem. Therefore, it will take a total of 40 days to complete this exercise. Then the Election Commission will need 5 days for the review of the registers list and display the provisional list from 15 to 28 September. Then between 12 and 15 October, the EC will proceed with the verification of the authenticity of the entries on the list, blah, blah, blah. The submission of candidates is scheduled from 5th to 9th October 2020. Okay, so take note of that date. The submission of candidatures is scheduled from 5th to 9th October 2020. And then when you go up, it says that then the Electoral Commission will need 5 days for the review of the voters list. And then the display of the provisional list will take place from 15th to 28th September. Then between 12th and 15th October, the EC will proceed with the verification of the authenticity of the entries on the electoral list. So by this, at the time that you say candidates should come and file their nominations, the full list is not ready. This is
in October.
Yes,
by October, when the candidates are filing their nominations.
Yes, this is their own.
According to the regular timetable, is it always ready by the time you are filing?
Of course, but because people must propose you and second you,
yes.
They must be registered voters. So if you don't have a full register, how are you going to get the seconders and proposers?
Oh, the people who second the candidate.
Yes,
Okay.
Somebody must propose you. It must be a registered voter. Somebody must second you. It must be a registered voter. These are the things that are checked. So we go around various all
and you have
over
to
the
pick
country
people from different constituencies
to go and let them endorse. And it comes to the EC and they check. They check
so
everything.
If I write
so
my
you
name,
you recall that you recall that in some presidential candidates have had their forms rejected, if you
yes,
remember.
in 2016,
because of these things, because the entries they gave were false. So if you don't have a full register, how can you do that? So you see, we are getting.
Why would we not have a full register by October, according to what you read?
And I've told you, they themselves said that between 12 and 15, the EC will proceed with the verification of the authenticity of the entries on the electoral list. Meanwhile, the submission of candidature is from 5th to 9th. 5th to 9th, you have to submit your candidature. And yet you will do the full verification 12 and 15. Does it make sense?
Yeah, but by the time, when they are doing the full verification, I will already know that I'm a registered voter. It's up to them to verify.
No, but the parties must know. The parties
must have the list.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the party must trust Elvis Afriyie Ankrah. You said you are registered.
No, it doesn't work like that. You must have a register.
I mean, this is a COVID-19 year. This is not a regular year.
If it's a COVID-19 year, that is why you don't want to go and gather 17 million people to say you are registering. Now you are coming to the meat of the matter. Because it's easier to do a limited registration of those who have turned 18 and above, okay, so that they can be managed, okay? That is more sensible. Assuming, okay, but if you want to gather 17 million people over a 40-day period, and you say you're doing clusters, 5 polling stations, bringing them together, and they say they are buying PPEs for their staff, what about the people who will be queuing?
If they say, however, that everyone who is on the voters register in 2016, including those who have turned 18, come and verify your name. You've turned 18, come and write your name. You're already on, come and verify. If you don't show up, you're out.
But the CI that they've sent doesn't include that.
I know, but will that be satisfactory to the NDC? Have you considered an option like that?
They must engage. You see, they're not engaging. Their attitude is whether you like it or not, we are going to do it. You know,
when is the next IPAC meeting?
We don't know. We have no idea. And consistently, the MPP seems to be speaking for them. The MPP will come out and say the SC is going to do this, and they go ahead. The attitude, the posturing of Jane Mensah and Bosman Asare, the damage they have done to that institution and to our democracy, believe me, it's incalculable. When you have Bosman Asare come to us and say the NDC is a veritable threat to our democracy, how can you say that?
He said that as an EC?
Yes, as an electoral commission. He even went further. And so when he said that and we blasted him, then he said, if we continue like this, then the EC will not supervise the internal elections of the party. Can you believe that such angst from a public officer who is supposed to be neutral, the referee? He said, Has and Kotoko, he said, as for Has, you will never win this match. Is this one correct?
That's not what he said.
That's the implication. You know, and he had forgotten that their own enabling law says that they must supervise the internal elections of every political party. That's the level of anger. That's the disposition of the people leading us. Is it not dangerous? And then on top of it, you have a deputy general secretary saying that they are going to beat us. I also West Wagon was a joke. They will beat us. And your friend, the president, he is supposed to be the icon of democracy. It was a fraud. When we were all in the university, Nanado, rule of law, I didn't belong to MPP, you know. But at least you had a certain distant admiration. Okay, this man truly believes in the rule of law. Obwa. Since he came, look at the things that are happening under his watch. Eh?
Which one?
Boys beating
the
people.
Repeal of the criminal libel law.
Boys beating people from the day he took office.
You don't remember the repeal of the criminal libel law?
And I'm saying that time he was looking for power. They said when a man gets power, that's where you see his real character. He now gets power. And his boys are beating people every day. Nothing happens to them.
Where?
You don't know?
Are you talking about also Westwood?
No. I'm talking about from the day they came into power.
But then he was sworn in.
The security people they beat from Ashanti region, all the things that their boys were doing, and nothing happened to them. They went to court and scattered the court. Nothing
I remember that Ashanti region. Why do you attribute that to the president?
But he's the one responsible. What happened to the people? Ayawa saw West Wagon.
Yes. There was a commission.
Yes. And what happened?
There's a white paper.
And what happened? Nothing. And the deputy general secretary of the ruling party, in a party where the president is supposed to be the whatever icon of the rule of law, says that they are going to beat people.
Oh, we'll be why he says these things. I mean, is that to be attributed to the party? And the party, attributed to the president.
And this is not the first time. And the other one, there's another one, something some character. He also says these things. You know, I also West is just the tip of the iceberg. We are going to. And even their members of parliament are saying it.
Oh, members of parliament?
Yes.
Like who?
So you are telling us. And you see, we went to meet one of the leaders of one of the church groups. And we was talking about peace. And I said, look, we birthed this democracy. That is why when we are provoked, we exercise restraint. And we have invested in infrastructure in this country. We don't want to see this country destroyed. That's why we exercise restraint. But they shouldn't forget that we have a revolutionary background.
That's a threat.
No, it's not a threat at all. No.
What does it mean?
It means that we exercise restraint because we came from somewhere. We don't want curfews again. We've been through it. We don't want June 4th again. We've been through it.
Talk of President Akufo-Addo. Let me
finish my point. Mm-hmm. Okay? So anytime they provoke us, like I was so West Wagon, we say, look, we draw. We want peace. Look, I have been Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations. You know what the boys asked me? You people, when Ayawaso Wagon came and we wanted to retaliate, you said we should stop and that there will be a commission and everything will be handled. They finished. Nothing has happened. When we go around, they tease us that 2020, they are coming to beat us again. So they asked me, so you want us to sit down for them to come and beat us? So when we went to meet that clergyman, I asked him, this is what the boys are saying. I haven't gotten an answer. Give me an answer. I'm sure he's watching. I won't mention his name. Please, so I'm still waiting for the answer because the pressure is mounting.
You, Elvis Afriyie Ankrah, you coined a term in the 2008 election in the Dagon area, and you received a lot of cheers for that, standing next to Professor Mills. You said that everyone likes peace, but justice before peace. Yes. Have you seen President Akufo-Addo personally settle the Dagbon crisis? Do you admire him for that?
He has tried.
So you admire him for that?
I don't admire him. You know he's not my friend.
Yeah, I know, but you are talking as a politician. Because you were worried about the Dagbon matter, and you used to say justice before peace. We are not talking about Dagbon here. No, you are talking about the man and his character.
Dagbon, and you end up beating people at hours over Swogo, and you form a commission and nothing happens to the people, and your party people are saying that 2020 is going to be worse. Why should I admire him and clap for him? Why should I?
We live here. It's almost 11
please, let's get serious. So we are heading towards danger.
What
and
danger?
The Electoral Commission,
but NDC is going to court with this matter.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Godfrey Dami told me that they have filed and he has
responded. Is he my spokesman? I don't know.
No, I'm saying that NDC have filed.
And I'm saying that I don't know about that.
Okay. On the EC matter.
I'm doing technical work.
Yeah, but it's a matter of fact. The NDC have
many people go to court.
The NDC has sued on this one.
Many people go to court. So I'm just going to court. So
no, this NDC has a party.
And I'm saying I have not been briefed on that.
Okay.
So the point is that
you said there's danger ahead.
There is danger ahead.
What kind of danger?
Because let me just, probably this will be my last.
Yeah, because we are running out of time. We have run out of a lot of time.
This is
1 minute then. 1 minute for that.
The ECOWAS protocols on peace and security, okay? And Article 2 on elections, Section 2, Article 2 on elections, it says, no substantial modification shall be made to the electoral laws in the last 6 months before the elections, except with the consent of a majority of political actors. Okay? Let me read all.
Yes.
No substantial modification shall be made to the electoral laws in the last 6 months before the elections, except with the consent of a majority of political actors. All the elections shall be organized on the dates or at periods fixed by the Constitution or blah, blah, blah. But essentially what it's saying is that 6 months before an election, you don't bring substantial changes. So you are bringing changes that in 2012, when we started the procurement processes in 2011, and we ended even before the middle of 2012, okay, you saw the challenges we had with the equipment. You are bringing new equipment that has not been tested, that has not been used before. And then in the midst of all this, and with the track record of the EC, that and with their NIA, very, very incompetent, and where you have a situation where millions of Ghanaians will not have access to their NIA card, and where it shows clearly that there's collusion between the EC and NIA to disenfranchise Ghanaians. It's a recipe for disaster. And against the backdrop of what do you call those people? Those thugs. You know?
Absolutely.
Threatening us.
Thank you very much.
So if you know that a thief is coming to steal things from your house, he says, I'm coming, I have a gun, I'm coming to shoot, what will you do? Right?
Well, there's danger ahead.
Okay.
That was Elvis Afriyie Ankrah. Thank you for joining us for this very long session of Good Evening Ghana. Good night.
I'm saying that we can vote people in and out, personalities, okay? But my dear, what we need to do in this country is to establish a situation where even if it was the devil who should come and sit on top of us in Ghana, by virtue of... I'm saying that we can vote people in and out, personalities, okay? But my dear, what we need to do in this country is to establish a situation where even if it was the devil who should come and sit on top of us in Ghana, by virtue of certain procedures, certain practices, the devil cannot get away with doing whatever he wants. He would necessarily have to do what the people expect of him.